All right, looks like we're streaming. Good morning, everybody. My name is Maggie O'Neill. This is the meeting of the Agriculture, Conservation, and Forestry Committee, and we are meeting this morning for the purposes of a couple confirmation hearings.
Right,
so before we start out, good morning, everybody. My name is. I'm going to ask folks to introduce themselves, starting with Senator Black, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senator Black, representing Senate District 17, which is all of Franklin County and 4 towns in Kennebec.
Thank you. Representative Hall.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Randy Hall, representing District 114, 6 towns in southern Franklin County.
Thanks. Senator Maxman.
Hi there, I'm Chloe Maxman. I represent Senate District 13, all of Lincoln County, plus Washington, Windsor, but not Dresden.
Thanks. Representative Gifford.
Good morning, Madam Chair. I'm Jeff Gifford, and I represent District 142 and live in Lincoln.
Thanks. Representative Underwood. Representative Underwood. All right, I'm going to go to Representative Schofield.
Good morning, Representative O'Neill. And good morning, everyone. My name is Tom Schofield, and I represent House District 112, and I live in the town of Weld, and I represent 17 towns and townships in Franklin and Somerset counties, as I like to say, the High Peaks region of Maine. And it's cool up here this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Representative Pluker.
Good morning. I'm Bill Pluker. I represent House District 95, which is Warren, Hope, Appleton, and part of Union.
Thanks. Representative Bernard. Representative Landry.
Good morning, Madam Speaker. I'm Scott Landry. I live in Farmington and represent District 113, the towns of Farmington, New Sharon, and Franklin County.
Thank you. Representative Osher.
Good morning. I'm Lori Osher. I represent District 123. That's most of Orono, the home of the University of Maine.
Awesome. And I don't think, Representative Bernard, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you very much, Representative O'Neill. I'm Sue Bernard. I represent District 149, which is Caribou, Westmanland, and New Sweden, which is in the Crown of Maine.
Morning. And Representative Underwood, I don't think you heard me.
Correct. I'm Representative Underwood, Joseph Underwood from District 147 in Presque Isle. Good to see everybody this morning, and it's a great day up here. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much. All right. So I'm going to turn over to the public hearing for the purpose of considering the nomination by the governor of Mr. Barry for appointment to the State Harness Racing Commission. Under the law and joint rules of the legislature, this committee is required to hold this public hearing and to recommend confirmation or denial of the nominee by majority vote of the committee members present and voting. As chairs of the committee, we will then send written notice of the committee's recommendations to the President of the Senate. The committee will hear testimony and have an opportunity to question the governor or her representative, and the nominee and any other persons present who wish to speak for or against the nomination. This meeting is currently being live streamed on the committee's YouTube channel, and this means that anyone who is a participant in the meeting via Zoom can be seen and also heard if their microphone is unmuted. People testifying can't be seen or heard until they're called upon to speak. This meeting will be recorded and available to view on the committee's YouTube channel soon after the meeting has concluded. Pursuant to Title III, Section 157 of the Maine statutes, which requires that there be an affirmative motion to recommend confirmation of the nominee, the chair recognizes Representative Hall for the purpose of making such a motion. Representative Hall, you're muted.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I'd poke that button, but thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the Joint Standing Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Forestry recommend certification of Mr. Barry W. Norris of Union for appointment to the State Harness Racing Commission.
Thank you. All right.
Seconded.
Thank you. All right, with that motion, now I have a script that I'll read. A copy of the statutory requirements for this position is available. And the chair now recognizes Mr. Barry. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The chair now recognizes if someone is here on behalf of the governor as a representative. Oh, Mr. Bush. Okay.
Yep.
Great. For the purpose of making a statement regarding the nomination.
Good morning, Representative O'Neill. Appears Senator Dill's not here, and distinguished members of the Joint Standing Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Forestry. My name is Joe Bushy, and I'm the Deputy Director of Boards and Commissions for Governor Mills. I'm here today on behalf of the governor to speak in support of the nomination of Barry W. Norris of Union for appointment to the Maine State Harness Racing Commission. He would be replacing William McFarland, who did not seek reappointment. The commission is responsible for contracting for the services of qualified people to serve as presiding and associate track judges, to provide adequate policing and enforcement, for adopting rules for holding, conducting, and operating all harness horse races or meets for public exhibition held in Maine, and for the operation of racetracks on which these races are held, and for contracting with or employing persons it deems necessary to carry out these responsibilities. Barry Norris is nominated to fill the seat on the commission, which is reserved for an individual affiliated with an agricultural society that conducts an agricultural fair. He was recommended to our office by the board of the Maine Association of Agricultural Fairs in Augusta, where he currently serves as the executive director, and by Representative Hall, who also is affiliated with the Franklin County Agricultural Society. Mr. Norris previously worked for the town of Union as the code enforcement officer and for the Maine Department of Public Safety as supervisor of investigations in the office of the state fire marshal for 10 years. He's an active member of his community and understands the rich history and tradition of harness racing in Maine. His knowledge of and commitment to the harness racing industry would make him a valued member of the commission. And on behalf of the governor, I am pleased to recommend Barry W. Norris for appointment to the commission and urge you to support his nomination. I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Bushy, for your statement. The chair would ask if any members of the committee have questions for the representative. All right, and seeing none at this time, the chair now recognizes, thank you. The chair now recognizes Mr. Norris for the purpose of making a statement concerning the nomination.
Good morning, Madam Chair and esteemed members of the Agricultural, Conservation, and Forestry Department. I was asked to make a written review of my application, and I've done that. My name is Barry W. Norris, and I am from Union. I'm here today to discuss with you my nomination to the Maine Harness Racing Commission. Agriculture has been a major part of my life since I was a boy. Working on my grandfather's Oxford County dairy farm taught me the importance of hard work and being a man of your word. Long hours were spent haying with horses, then enjoying my grandmother's homemade dinner at noontime, and then back out to tend to whatever chores were left to be done. Part of my youth took me to Goshen, New York, where my parents had relocated. Right down the street from our home in Goshen, New York was the Goshen Historic Racetrack and the home of the Hamiltonian. It was during those years that I learned about harness racing. By working in the stables for the Woolworth family, who were from Maine, I worked at both tracks. It became apparent how much commitment and involvement was in the harness racing industry. Agriculture has always been part of my blood, and when I returned back to Maine, I was fortunate enough to be taken under the wing of a local Hereford breeder and started on my own path of showing and eventually owning and breeding registered Hereford cattle. Norris Farm takes pride to breed quality animals with a goal of matching each calf with a 4-H member interested in showing at the Maine agricultural fairs. As I traveled to Maine fairs showing cattle, I made many strong lifelong friendships. When the opportunity arose for me to join the board of the Union Fair, I accepted enthusiastically. While serving on the Union Fair Board, I worked as a director of racing, maintenance, grounds, livestock, and eventually became its president. I'm also a member of the Windsor Fair Board. Attending the annual Maine Association of Agricultural Fairs meetings in January, I was able to connect with many livestock and harness racing friends and soon became involved in the mission of the statewide organization. My 10 years on the board of the Maine Agricultural Affairs Association included serving as chairman of the Bylaws Committee and Finance Committee. I also was fortunate enough to work with Lincoln Orff and Katie Dameron in creating and supporting pieces of legislation affecting agriculture, especially the Bangor-Racino bill. I was honored to have served on the Maine Harness Racing Promotion Board, and I served for a while as their chair. For the past 2 years, I've served as executive director for the Maine Association of Agricultural Affairs. Harness racing goes back to the 1800s in the state of Maine. And as a result of harness racing, agricultural fairs came about. Maine's 26 agricultural fairs received stipend monies, all of which came as a result of harness racing. After the creation of the Maine casinos, harness racing was still a significant part of the revenue stream for our Maine fairs. A recent survey commissioned by the Harness Racing Commission revealed that the public was introduced to and participated in harness racing at Maine's agricultural fairs much more than at the two main commercial tracks. This data reinforces the importance of keeping Maine harness racing industry supported and promoted by all of us. I'm honored to be considered for the position as a member of the Maine Harness Racing Commission. I believe that I bring a strong background on hands-on experience with the sport of harness racing and a record of continued advocacy for agriculture and the industry in the state of Maine. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you, Mr. Norris, for your statement this morning, and thanks for your willingness to serve. Do I see any questions from committee members for Mr. Norris? All right, seeing none, thanks so much. The chair will now take comments from anyone who's attending this hearing who might wish to speak for or against the nomination. Something I'll ask is maybe put your hand up if that's of interest. All right, I see one person in the waiting room. Cheryl, could we please bring in James Day?
Yes, we also have Ed McCall there as well.
Oh, thanks so much.
Yep.
All right, while you bring in James Day, I'll welcome up Mr. McCall, please.
Chairwoman O'Neill, can you hear me?
I can. Mr.
Okay,
McCall,
terrific.
welcome.
Thank you very much. So I'm a lawyer, live in Cape Elizabeth and practice in Portland. I've appeared before the Maine Harness Racing Commission since 1989, pretty much every year on behalf of one racetrack, several OTBs, number of horsemen, one horseman's organization. So I've seen the industry from a variety of angles. Sadly, it's often a fractious industry, and the job of harness racing commissioner is a very challenging job. They decide adversarial matters, they decide licensing matters, they draft regulations, and often it's a thankless job. The industry badly needs Barry Norris and people of his character, leadership, diplomacy, honesty, and dedication to the future of a difficult industry in difficult economic times. We're incredibly fortunate that Mr. Norris is willing to serve in this important job, and I strongly urge the committee to support his nomination. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. McCall, for your testimony. Do we see any questions from committee members? All right, seeing none, thank you. Next, I will welcome Mr. Day, and I should have said to anyone listening, please state your name and your residence prior to your testimony, just like Mr. McCall did.
Good morning, Representative O'Neill and members of the Agriculture, Conservation and Forestry Committee. My name is Jim Day. I am president of LRI Inc. We do business as the Winner's Circle Off-Track Betting in Lewiston and a resident of Scarborough, Maine. It's my pleasure to speak to you today in favor of the nomination of Barry Norris for the Harness Racing Commission. I have been in this industry since 1982 as a racetrack owner, horse owner, breeder, and operator of Maine's first off-track betting facility. I have been in front of the Harness Racing Commission for years, and I cannot think of someone who can offer the professionalism, fairness, and broad-based knowledge of the industry that Mr. Norris can offer. He has been a racing director, a past president of a fair, on the Maine Harness Racing Promotion Board, and served as its chair, director of the Maine Fair Association, and more. He has worked on industry legislative efforts such as the original casino bill that funds most of the industry, and instrumental this year in trying to pass sports wagering in this state for the benefit of harness racing industry and the fairs. Just knowing racing is only part of the equation to make a good commissioner. I have worked through some tough issues with Mr. Norris over the years, and almost always, if not always, he was the voice of reason, listening to both sides, and finding the proper solution and compromise. The governor should be congratulated for her find in nominating Mr. Norris, and I hope this committee will confirm his nomination. The racing industry just got better if this is the result. I am not sure if this committee has a say as to who is chairman or not, but if this committee has any say, then I not only support Mr. Norris for the commission, but also as its chair. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Day, for your testimony. Do I see any questions from committee members? All right, seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, I will recognize Ms. Ricker. Good morning, welcome.
Good morning, Representative O'Neill and honorable members of the Agriculture, Conservation, and Forestry Committee. My name is Hope Ricker, and I am a proud resident of Pittston, Maine. I am past president of the Maine Association of Agricultural Affairs, and I presently serve on that board as the clerk. I am testifying today in favor of the appointment of Barry Norris to the Maine Harness Racing Commission as the representative from the Maine Agricultural Affairs. I have had the pleasure of working with Barry in the past when he was on the board of the MAAF and president of Union Fair, and more recently in his role as executive director of the State Fair Association. Barry's dedication to the organizations that he is affiliated with is second to none. He is the most qualified candidate for this position with his knowledge of fairs, harness racing, and the entire industry is exceptional. He is skilled in bringing all interested parties to the table to obtain a consensus on difficult issues. Barry has a background in fairs and harness racing and the knowledge of all the issues they are facing. He has guided the Maine fairs through the past tumultuous 15 months that we have experienced to bring us back better in 2021. Barry is highly respected and has the unanimous support for this appointment from all 26 Maine state licensed agricultural fairs. I urge you to support Barry's nomination, and I thank you for your time, your support, and your service to the citizens of the state of Maine. And I hope to see you all at the fairs this season. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ricker, for your testimony, and likewise. All right, do I see any questions for Ms. Ricker? Seeing none, thank you very much. All right, Karen, Cheryl, I think that looks like everybody. Oh, I see Representative Hall.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I'd just like to expound upon some of the things that have been said. I've known Barry since I was a teenager, and we started out at the fairs showing Herefords. I've been a part of the Maine Agricultural Fair Association with Barry. I was past president. I was second president under Ms. Ricker that just spoke, and again, I would just think Barry, his dedication to the industry, not only the harness racing industry, but the agricultural industry, is second to none. And he's just a super kind of a guy. And I just want to say, I hope that we all confirm him. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Representative Hall. All right, seeing no more folks wishing to speak, all public comments having been taken.
Representative O'Neill, we did have another gentleman, Michael Timmons, but he's having issues getting on. So I did want Mr. Norris to know that he was trying to get on to testify for him, but he is not able to. Sorry.
Okay, thanks for noticing, Representative Timmons. So I'll keep an eye out to see if he pops back up. So all comments having been taken, the committee will now proceed as follows. We'll review any additional written comments on the nomination that have been received, and vote on the nomination and notify the President of the Senate pursuant to Title III MSRA Section 157 and the joint rules. The vote must be taken within 35 days from the date of the governor's written notice. The hearing by the Joint Standing Committee on ACF for Mr. Barry Norris of Union for appointment to the State Harness Racing Commission is closed. In accordance with the law, the committee may not take the vote on this nomination sooner than 15 minutes after the close of the public hearing unless all committee members who are present agree. At this time, I will inquire whether any member present objects to proceeding to take the vote immediately. Seeing no objection, the pending question before the committee is that the Joint Standing Committee on ACF recommend to the Senate of the 130th Maine Legislature that the nomination of Mr. Barry W. Norris of Union for appointment to the State Harness Racing Commission be confirmed. In accordance with 3 MSRA Section 157 and with the joint rules of the 130th Legislature, the vote will be taken by the yeas and the nays. A vote of yes will be in favor, and a vote of no will be against. Is the committee ready for the question? The committee clerk will call the roll, please.
Nomination of Barry Norris. Representative Susan Bernard. Absent. Representative Lori Osher.
Yes.
Representative Lori Osher, yes. Representative Thomas Schofield.
Yes.
Representative Thomas Schofield, yes. Representative Joseph Underwood.
Yes.
Representative Joseph Underwood, yes. Representative Scott Landry.
Yes.
Representative Scott Landry, yes. Representative Randall Hall.
Yes.
Representative Randall Hall, yes. Representative Margaret O'Neill.
Yes.
Representative Margaret O'Neill, yes. Representative James Dill. Senator James Dill, absent. Senator Russell Black.
Yes.
Senator Russell Black, yes. Senator Chloe Maxman.
Yes.
Senator Chloe Maxman, yes. Representative William Pluker.
Yes.
Representative William Pluker, yes. Representative Jeffrey Gifford.
Yes.
Representative Jeffrey, there you are. Representative Jeffrey Gifford, yes. Representative David McCray.
Yes.
Representative David McCray, yes. That is 11 yes and 2 absent.
All right, thank you. So that concludes the nomination hearing, and thank you, Mr. Norris, for your willingness to serve.
Thank you all for your support and everyone who testified on my behalf. I look forward to serving the great state of Maine in the position of Harness Racing Commission. Thank you.
Congratulations, Barry.
Congratulations. All right.
Before we get started for this one, I've got a couple messages from Tim saying he's having trouble. I see him listed as a participant. Do we actually know if we have him?
I'm here.
Sorry.
So it sounded like Tim said he's here.
I'm here, but I'm having issues with Zoom and the video. My apologies.
Oh, Tim is here, yes. He's on the phone.
Okay. Tim, we see you, and audio works if that's what you're able to do.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Oh, Tim, we can see you in the room and hear you, or we can hear you. So audio works if that is what you're able to do.
Yes,
So you can
I
just
don't
listen,
dare.
listen for me, and
Yep.
I'll call you up when it's time.
Yep.
All right, perfect.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna make it through.
All right. So this again is a public hearing of the Joint Standing Committee of ACF for the purpose of considering the nomination by the governor of Mr. Tim J. Archambault of Holden for appointment to the State Harness Racing Commission. Under the law and joint rules of the legislature, this committee is required to hold this public hearing and to recommend the confirmation or denial of the nominee by a majority vote of committee members present and voting. As chairs of the committee, we will then send written notice of the committee's recommendations to the Senate President. The committee will hear testimony from and have an opportunity to question the governor or her representative, the nominee, and any other persons present who wish to speak for or against the nomination. This meeting is currently being live streamed. I think we have an understanding of that. So pursuant to Title 3, Section 157 of the Maine statutes, which requires that there be an affirmative motion to recommend confirmation of the nominee, the chair recognizes Representative Hall for the purpose of making such a motion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the Joint Standing Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Forestry recommend confirmation of Timothy J. Archambault of Holden for appointment to the State Harness Racing Commission.
Thank you, Representative Hall. A copy of the statutory requirements for this position are available. The chair now recognizes Mr. Bushy for the purpose of making a statement concerning this nomination on behalf of the governor.
Good morning, and thank you once again, Representative O'Neill and distinguished members of the Joint Standing Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Forestry. My name is Joe Bushy, and I'm the Deputy Director of Boards and Commissions for Governor Mills. I'm here now on behalf of the governor to speak in support of the nomination of Timothy J. Archambault of Holden for appointment to the Maine State Harness Racing Commission. He will be replacing Mike Timmons, who did not seek reappointment. As I read them before, I won't read you again the roles and responsibilities of the commission, but they are listed in my testimony. Tim is a graduate of the University of Maine College of Business and also holds an MBA from the University of Maine. He's currently the marketing officer at the Kirk Auto Group in Bangor. He has also held similar positions at Reach Maine in Ellsworth, Hydro Photo and SteriPen in Blue Hill, served as vice president of new media for Maine Today Media, and spent nearly 15 years as the digital manager for the Bangor Daily News. His many years of business operations and marketing experience has provided him with an expansive skill set, integrity, and a strong sense of ethics, which would be a strong asset to the commission. He's a longtime fan and follower of harness racing. He worked his way through college and met his now wife at Bangor Raceway. On a personal note, which isn't in my testimony, I met Tim around the same time he was working his way through college at Bangor Raceway. And even though I haven't spoken to him since he applied just recently in the last few months, I do know him to be a knowledgeable person in regards to harness racing and a longtime fan. Timothy J. Archambault's lifelong enjoyment of harness racing and skills in marketing and business would make him a valued asset to the commission. It's those marketing skills that really stuck out when we were looking for new nominees. We really need somebody to help with the promotion of harness racing in the state. So on behalf of the governor, I urge you to support the nomination of Timothy J. Archambault, and I would be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Bushy, for your comments. The chair would ask if anyone from the committee has questions at this time. All right, seeing none, thank you. And thanks for your remarks about marketing. I think that's really helpful.
Thank you. And just before I go, I did want to let you know that these were the two that we addressed this session. There are 2 more slots on the commission that expire in the fall, so we'll probably need to address those in the very near future as well.
All right, great. Thank you, Mr. Bushy.
Thank you.
All right, the chair now recognizes Mr. Timothy J. Archambault for the purpose of making a statement concerning the nomination. Mr. Archambault, good morning.
Good morning.
Senator Dill, House Chair O'Neill, and members of the Agriculture, Conservation, and Forestry Committee. My name is Tim Archambault from Holden, and I'm here today to discuss with you my nomination to the Maine State Harness Racing Commission. As Mr. Bushy mentioned, while attending the University of Maine Business School, I had the privilege to work at Bangor Raceway and the Agricultural Fairs, both as a pari-mutuel and working with United Totalisator, company that provided the technology to support wagering at Bangor Raceway and the fairs at that time. They are no longer the source, but this experience provided me a lifelong appreciation for harness racing, operations, and the entertainment value both. I had the opportunity to travel the fairs and be part of the experience that, as Mr. Norris talked about, and helped cultivate. I've followed harness racing my entire adult life. In the most recent years, as the head of marketing at one of Maine's largest automotive dealership groups, I've gained probably the most important experience I can to help support harness racing in Maine. I've had the opportunity to travel to Augusta pre-COVID and work with the Maine Consumer Protection Group and their auditors to ensure that Quirk Auto Group adheres to Maine's consumer protection laws, which is something we take very seriously. And a lot of the best practices that we've worked with the state on have proliferated across the industry to, you know, most of the car dealerships that many of you have bought vehicles from. This particular aspect of my recent work experience, I think, provides a strong foundation and a viewpoint at serving this committee to protect the interests of not only the pari-mutuel wagerers, the horsemen, and the horses. And I apologize, but Mr. McCall or Mr. Day, one of the two gentlemen, made a great point. The three interests that I just mentioned do require a lot of compromise and reason, especially given the path of harness racing in Maine, and there's a lot of tough decisions that will need to be made. But you can rest assured, if I have the opportunity, that, you know, following these guidelines to protect the interest of these parties is vital to me. As Mr. Bushy mentioned, I have over 25 years of marketing and public relations experience across many different industries. I'm also highly involved in American Legion Baseball in the state of Maine. I've actually taken two programs that went defunct and restored them, providing young men in the Hancock County and Old Town areas the opportunity to play summer baseball and keep them busy, which is something I'm very proud of. I look forward to providing guidance to the committee regarding policy and opportunities to improve pari-mutuel wagering and marketing of the industry, hopefully to try to attract some new, younger audiences to this great Maine tradition. Thank you for your time, and I look forward and hope to the opportunity to serve the great state of Maine.
Thank you, Mr. Archambault, for your statement, and thank you for your willingness to serve. The chair would ask if any member of the committee has questions for the nominee. Seeing none, thank you very much. The chair will now take comments from persons attending this hearing who wish to speak for or against the nomination. And it's typical process. So you'll come up and say your name and where you live before presenting your testimony. Looking at those present in our attendee list, would anyone raise their hand if they'd like to come in and speak?
There's no one there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Yeah.
All right. Seeing none. All comments having been taken, the committee We'll now proceed as follows. We'll review any written comments, and we'll vote on the nomination and notify the Senate President pursuant to 3 MSRA Section 157 and the joint rules. The vote must be taken within 35 days from the date of the governor's written notice. The hearing by the Joint Committee on ACF for Mr. Timothy J. Archambault of Holden for appointment to the State Harness Racing Commission is closed. In accordance with the law, the committee may not take the vote on this nomination sooner than 15 minutes after the close of the public hearing, unless all committee members who are present agree. At this time, I'll inquire whether any member present objects to proceeding to take the vote immediately. And seeing no objections, the pending question before the committee is that the Joint Standing Committee on ACF recommend to the Senate of the 130th Maine Legislature that the nomination of Mr. Timothy J. Archambault of Holden for appointment to the State Harness Racing Commission be confirmed. In accordance with 3 MSRA Section 157 and with the joint rules of the 130th Legislature, the vote will be taken by the yeas and the nays. A vote of yes will be in favor of recommending confirmation. A vote of no will be against the motion to recommend confirmation. Is the committee ready for the question? All right, the committee clerk will call the roll, please.
Nominate Timothy Archambault. Representative Susan Bernard, absent. Representative Lori Osher.
Yes.
Representative Lori Osher, yes. Representative Thomas Schofield.
Yes.
Representative Thomas Schofield, yes. Representative Joseph Underwood.
Yes.
Representative Joseph Underwood, yes. Representative Scott Landry.
Yes.
Representative Scott Landry, yes. Representative Randall Hall.
Yes.
Representative Randall Hall, yes. Representative Maggie O'Neill.
Yes.
Representative Maggie O'Neill, yes. Senator James Dill, absent. Senator Russell Black.
Yes.
Senator Russell Black, yes. Senator Chloe Maxman.
Yes.
Senator Chloe Maxman, yes. Representative Bill Pluker.
Yes.
Representative Bill Pluker, yes. Representative Jeffrey Gifford.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Representative Jeffrey Gifford, yes. Representative David McCray.
Yes.
Representative David McCray, yes. 11 yes, 2 absent.
All right, thank you, Cheryl. Congratulations, Mr. Archambault, and thank you very much for your willingness to serve.
Congratulations, Tim.
All right.
Thank you.
So it looks like that concludes our business for the day. I'm wondering if Karen has anything to share that I might have forgotten on the agenda for language review or anything like that. Karen, you're muted. We can't hear you, Karen. It's still stuck. Oh, no.
You think after all this time. I'm nervous because my office mate is here today, so. I did send you an email this morning. I do have, so one language review, it's something that you've already seen. This is the majority report to LD 808. The amendment repeals the pesticide container fee in the Tick Laboratory and Pest Management Fund. So the amendment was moving along in production, and when OFPR contacted Maine Revenue Services about the fiscal note, and they had mentioned this in their testimony on both 1594, I believe, and this bill, they strongly recommend amending the amendment so that retailers have at least 10 business days to implement the repeal of the fee. In other words, to stop collecting the fee. So all I did was, and I just wanted to bring it to your attention. I don't think you need to reconsider the bill, but it is substantive in terms of the effective date. What I did in the emergency clause at the very end, I just changed that to read, in view of the emergency cited in the preamble, this legislation takes effect 10 business days after it is approved. That's the only difference, and I just wanted to bring that to your attention. And of course, it doesn't matter for the minority report because it'll go into effect 90 days after adjournment, assuming if that report went forward. So.
Okay, thank you. And that was something, just to add, it was input from MRS that we incorporated after. So if everybody is good, we can do a thumbs up kind of thing. Senator Black.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My question is 10 days adequate? I mean, that's what they recommended, minimum of 10 days, but is 10 days adequate?
You know, main revenue, as originally drafted, it was immediate, assuming it was emergency. And I guess main revenue services, that was their recommendation. So it would be essentially 2 weeks for them to kind of change their you know, computer programming or however they implement the fee. So I'm assuming that they would have some idea of what the retailers need.
Including notice, you know, once the bill comes to the floor, I'm guessing that representatives for retailers will get the word out about it too.
Right, and I mean, it wasn't an issue raised by the Maine Retailers Association or the Maine Food and Grocers Association. So, but I'm sure they would appreciate the time, the heads up.
So thanks for the questions that work for everybody. All right.
Okay, and then I just have fiscal note reviews. LD 33, an act to improve the laws governing hemp by bringing them into compliance with federal law. So you turn that into a resolve directing the department to seek input from stakeholders about Maine state hemp program. So there is a fiscal note required, but it's one of those minor cost increase to the general fund, and any additional costs to the department are anticipated to be minor and can be absorbed within existing budgeted resources. Are there any questions about that one?
Not for me. Thanks, Karen. All right, seeing none.
Okay, and actually they're all sort of the same idea. The next one I have is the majority report to LD 524, an act to require schools to submit pest management activity logs to the Board of Pesticides Control and the posting of inspection results for the purpose of providing information to the public. The majority report turned this into a resolve to have the board research workable methods to collect pesticide sales and use records for the purpose of providing information to the public. Again, there is a fiscal note required on this amendment. It's a minor cost increase to other special revenue funds. And again, in the detail and notes, any additional costs to the board are anticipated to be minor and can be absorbed within existing budgeted resources. Any questions?
Seeing none.
Okay, the next one I have is LD 1611. This is the majority report to an act to amend Maine's harness racing laws regarding race dates and pari-mutuel pools. And there is a fiscal note required, again, minor cost increase to other special revenue funds. Any additional costs to the State Harness Racing Commission are anticipated to be minor and can be absorbed within existing budgeted resources. Any questions about that one?
All right, not seeing any.
And the last one I have is the fiscal notes for LD 25. The majority report is an act to prohibit the aerial spraying of glyphosate and other synthetic herbicides for the purpose of silviculture. I call this the Representative McRae Amendment. His table of new distances for spraying in shoreland areas. So there's a fiscal note required for The majority report, it's a minor cost increase to other special revenue funds. Again, any additional costs to the board are anticipated to be minor and can be absorbed within existing budgeted resources. Any questions?
Representative McCray.
Yes, I know that it was just doing so many things. Karen, when you first introduced this, you said LD 25, and I don't think that's any problem, but just
It's 125, yeah.
Right, exactly. Thank you.
And then I have the minority report, which was really more technical in nature. It's the intent of the original bill, but there is a fiscal note required. Again, minor cost increase to other special revenue funds, and it's the same idea. Costs to the board are minor and can be absorbed within existing budgeted resources. So are there any questions on that? And we have 5 remaining fiscal notes that we're waiting for. So I'm not sure how we'll be, I can send those to you by email, but maybe I could work that out with the chairs to see how you'd like to receive those, since we don't have plans to meet at this point.
That sounds perfect. All right, thank you, Karen. Well, thanks everybody for a great year. I'm not sure if this will be our last meeting or if we'll have some more confirmations to do, but it's been a real pleasure working with all of you and getting to know you, even if we can't be in person. And I look forward to when we get to be back in person together. I see Cheryl.
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody that as jackets come out, please take a look at your emails and or check in with me starting on Tuesday or Wednesday and see if you can come into the room and just sign the jacket in person if you want to. But the sooner we get those in, the sooner you'll be able to work on them in session. So I have one out there right now, and Karen just okayed, or will be okaying 3 more, I believe. Yeah, so you'll be getting 3 more emails. I've received Representative Hall's notice and Representative Senator Maxman. So just let me know and I'll sign your name down there. Thank you.
Yeah, we do have a lot of divided reports.
Yep.
So that requires the okay from all committee members. So if everyone can stay on top of those so we can get bills out of committee, that would be great.
Okay, good reminder. Myself included. All right, thanks everybody. Good to see you.
Thank you. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Great long weekend.
See you next week.
Looking forward to seeing everyone next week. Have a good weekend.
Bye.